Yo, what's going on guys? I'm Maze, and welcome to my Pokemon Sun and Moon review series. Today I'll be reviewing episode 115, Emperor of Destruction, Guzma. But first, let me know in the comments down below for today's question of the day what you personally thought of this episode. I'd love to hear. Alright, with that said though, let's jump into this review. Let's go! So the episode begins off with, oh Jesus, Ash using his brand new Stellanium Serum Pikachu to use Corkscrew Crash, which clearly from my reaction, I did not expect the episode to just dive into action like that. I mean, it's no battle, but I do really appreciate this introduction as it was a nice way to practice the new Z move, which was the whole point of the scene anyway. After the Z move though, Ash's classmates are left in awe, and Mallow and Sophocles even state that they would love for themselves to use Z moves one day, which is nice foreshadowing for future episodes to come, as of course one of the new titles I discussed in a recent video is Sophocles competing in a Vikavolt race to obtain the Bulganium Z, with Mallow bound to have a follow-up episode at some point. So that way, she ain't the only one left without a Z Crystal and a Z Ring. Which, again, it's very satisfying to know that each classmate is pretty much going to be treated equally because of this, and will help their character development out in one way or another. Though, seeing as I've referenced my previous video now, this is a good time to tell you guys who thought it was an April Fool's joke, that it wasn't. We always get news on the Pokemon anime's anniversary, which happens to share the same day with April Fools. So, if you haven't seen the video yet, go watch it after this one. There's some pretty cool upcoming episodes. But getting back on track with this episode, Samsung Oak reminds our gang that Professor Kukui wants them to visit Ava Paradise, where he will be giving a very big announcement to the entire Alola region. So of course, our gang then head there. They even hilariously ignored Samsung Oak's cringy puns. But once settling down, Professor Kukui announces that there will be a Pokemon League in Alola to truly find out who's the strongest trainer in the region, and then rightfully be crowned the Alola region champion. There being no Champions League this time around to compete in afterwards, aka the Elite Four. So that means if Ash wins the league for example, he would become the champion of Alola. Though he won't win, he's a mascot. Anyway, another thing that sets this league apart from the rest of the leagues is the fact that anybody can enter. You don't need to complete any Grand Trial or have a Z-Ring. So naturally, most of our classmates, excluding Lilie and Mallow, decide they want to enter the Alola League. Yet, I'm sure Lilie and Mallow will compete once getting their Z-Rings and feeling like a better, stronger trainer as opposed to before. Plus, Kukui actually stated that it doesn't matter who becomes champion, as the true meaning behind this league is to help each other learn and grow with their Pokemon and friends, hence why it's open for anybody to join. To end this announcement off though, the Kahunas revealed that they're with Kukui's plan all the way, because there used to be one final trial after completing each Grand Trial, which got abandoned, and that trial was simply for one island champion to battle another on top of Mount Lankilla. The Kahunas will even be referees for this league, and the league will even be held on an artificial island made by Ava Paradise, who admired Kukui's idea for the league as well. But we'll speak more about how I feel about these rules later on into the video. There's a lot I have to go over regarding that. So, continuing on with the story, we get introduced to one of the best characters in the Pokemon Sun and Moon games, excluding Lilie, and that is Guzma. Hey, it's finally happening, boys! And yes, it took forever for him to appear in the anime, but, you know, as some people say, you gotta save the best for last. After a Team Skull member raps about getting high, obviously I took that out of context, but I found it pretty funny. In fact, the entire rap was funny. Our goofy recurring Team Skull grunts alert Guzma that Kukui is planning on building a league, which Guzma, who believes he's the strongest trainer in Alola, hates the idea of this league, and decides he's going to pay him a visit at the Pokemon School tomorrow to express this. Which indeed, the next day, he and his grunts make their way to the Pokemon School. But actually, encounter Team Rocket along the way, in which our grunts then have a rap battle with Team Rocket, which was so unexpected to see Team Rocket rap, but hilarious at the same time. But after Guzma overhears that Team Rocket themselves want to compete in the Alola League, which man, I'm hoping for a Pikachu vs Mimikyu match, Guzma decides to have a real battle against them to show him that they will just lose in the league as he's the strongest trainer in Alola. Which, He definitely showed Team Rocket that he's the real deal. Oh my god. After this, Guzma then finally arrives at the Pokemon School and gets his grunts to alert Kukui of their appearance. Which Kukui, upon arriving, hears Guzma's frustrated thoughts about the league and just simply replies that if he believes he's the strongest trainer in Alola, he should compete in the league. Which Guzma ignored this and then challenged Kukui to a battle. Which, Ash not liking Guzma's attitude at all, challenges Guzma to a battle in place of Kukui. Which Guzma, who noticed the quote same stench as Kukui end quote on Ash, accepts this battle and even goes as far to say that he's gonna destroy everything Ash loves. Like damn, calm down. Oh my god, Guzma is so edgy, but I love it at the same time. During this battle though, which was Ash's Pikachu versus Guzma's Golisopod, Ash was experiencing difficulty, having not been able to dodge the undodgeable first impression, not hit successful thunderbolts, and even having his C-move deflected and then be poisoned by a poison jab and hit hard with a liquidation. Like bro, although I agree with Ash's intentions as opposed to Guzma's, it was so satisfying to see Ash get beat up so badly. It just proves that Guzma isn't anybody to mess around with. And the battle itself was surprisingly beautifully animated and entertaining. After Ash finds a way to finally hit attacks on Golisopod though, Golisopod gets sent back to Guzma's Pokeball by itself, this being an emergency exit, in which Guzma responds that Golisopod knew that it was going to win and couldn't be bothered to even finish Pikachu off because of that. Ash even argues that he couldn't possibly know that it would win until the battle is officially over. But Guzma simply laughed at this, in which Kukui then roasts Guzma by saying that he's only running away like he did from the island challenges. Which I suppose this means that Guzma challenged for trials, but ended up losing in some of them. Which Guzma shows no reaction to this in person, and simply leaves the school thinking he had proved his point about the league, and even goes as far to say that he's gonna destroy it once the time comes around. But towards the end of the episode when he's alone in his room, Guzma then actually shows frustration in Kukui stating that he's running away, which this just makes me so excited to see a flashback in a future episode of what happened to Guzma in the trials and even his friendship with Kukui. In fact, now that I've gone over this story, let's now move on to my overall thoughts regarding this episode. First of all, for the main plot focus, which was Guzma's debut, oh my god, I loved it so much. And that is because the anime portrayed Guzma in such a perfect way. In fact, I'll maybe go as far to say that they portrayed him better than the games did for his introduction, which that statement alone should just tell you a lot already. Like, his attitude was more malicious, saying things such as "I've come to destroy you" and "I've destroyed everything you love," which fits his personality and intentions very well. His battle skills were surprisingly outstanding, whereas he would be a pushover in the games despite being depicted as somebody incredibly strong. The mystery surrounding this character's backstory already has me very intrigued to see more. And finally, whereas no Team Skull Grunt has mentioned Guzma in previous episodes, unlike how they mentioned him in the Pokemon games, the hype built up to this character was well worth it. Like seriously, guys, I absolutely see no flaws with this introduction to Guzma whatsoever. Well, to his character at least. I did dislike how Team Rocket didn't remember Team Skull, or some aspects regarding the Alola League rules at first, before then ultimately changing my opinion on them. But getting back on track with Guzma, we're not even used to seeing characters like him in this series as well, due to his light-hearted and relaxed theme. So it was quite breathtaking to see the series finally go in a direction where we explore a character who isn't that jolly. Hell, even Faber used to be cheerful when he used to be the bad guy. So it's so fulfilling to see us get something different now, which Guzma was perfect for this. I'm not gonna lie, it would have been brilliant if we got to see him early on in this series. In fact, I said this to myself during the Team Rocket battle, but we gotta remember that this anime had a lot of story to go over. So I can at least respect the anime for doing what they had to do. Yeah, thanks to this episode alone, once again, the wait was well worth it, and it seems like the anime is giving Guzma and Team Skull an arc of their own anyway, which honestly is way better than cramming him in the game stories, which he didn't really play a major role in. He was a pawn. This arc giving us the excuse to see a Guzma story which he honestly deserved for being such an appealing character. What he would do apart from tearing up the Alola League, I don't know, but this episode alone has made me hopeful. No, confident that there's going to be something extraordinary and will fit his character very well. But that's all I have to say for this main plot now. So with that said, I now think it's finally time I bring up my thoughts regarding the Alola League and its rules, which was a major part of the episode as well. You better get comfortable if you haven't already, as I'll be talking about this for quite a while. So first of all, the announcement of the league was very exciting. Now sure, we knew a league was going to be built thanks to hints in other episodes, however, it was just delightful to see it finally be announced to the public of Alola. However, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I found the rules for this league to be quite good, yet also quite bad. Keyword, at first. I liked how anybody could enter, as it gives us an excuse to watch more battles, which always is lovely when Pokemon is mostly about battles in the games. However, I disliked how it also basically cheapened the trials. Which by that, I mean that it makes the trials look like they were for no good reason whatsoever, over to obtain a Z Crystal. And I even wanted the Alola League rules to be that you had to complete all Grand Trials, or at least complete one. Not only that though, but because other characters will be competing, who only have 1 to 3 Pokemon on hand, that would mean that this league will most likely not have 6v6 battles, which has always been a feature I am very excited to witness in the final season of whatever Pokemon series, as it gives us the most amount of action ever, whilst the stakes are also very high, making some of the best Pokemon battles ever in the anime. But then again, who knows? Maybe starting with the quarterfinals, the league referees will give the option whether a trainer wants to have a 1v1 battle, a 3v3 battle, or a 6v6 battle. Anything's possible with the anime these days. But regardless of that glimmer of hope there, I know for a fact many people watching would agree with my initial reaction to these Alola League rules, due to what a majority of Pokemon fans have said on social media so far. However, after having some time to think more about these rules, I am honestly no longer disappointed by any of these rules, but rather really intrigued to see how things will play out. As after all, I feel like, much like my initial reactions to Season 1 of Sun and Moon, I missed the entire meaning behind these new changes, which one day I will be reviewing Sun and Moon Season 1 by the way. But for now, yeah, I feel like I missed the true, actually magical meaning behind Kukui making anybody compete in this league. As first of all, unlike any other Pokemon series, every character we've watched on screen, including Character of the Days, and I mean every character, not a single one getting left out, actually means something to the series in one way or another, as they keep on appearing again and again, which is thanks to this slice of life genre, which wants to give importance and love to each character, instead of the writers just creating them for one episode, which people will most likely forget anyway. This being, with no pun intended, everyone's story. Not just Ash's and the occasional story surrounding his companions, but everyone's story. This is why battles before the league were put aside as well, as the writers mainly wanted to focus on these characters, the story, the game story, and most importantly, the world itself and how everything connects together to give us this unified feeling. Everybody having a role to play, whether it be big or small, if you get what I mean. So not only will the anime want to focus on Ash getting far in the league like usual, because it helps his goal of wanting to become a Pokemon Master, but shows the growth of every other character they've introduced to us within this series. So they all feel important and complete as characters with the development they gain in this league, and just the fact they decide to compete in it anyway, even if their goal has nothing to do with them wanting to become a stronger trainer. The characters just simply wants to have fun and grow a deeper bond with their Pokemon and understand the bonds of other characters and their Pokemon. Hell, even Kukui said at the start of this episode that it doesn't matter who becomes champion. This league is to help each other grow, which is a very heartwarming distinctive and fits the themes of this series in such a beautiful way. I honestly cannot believe I forgot the main themes of this series, because I let my expectations from older leagues get in my way. And hell, even though like I said, this series focuses less on battles, come on, this league is still gonna cater to every kind of Pokemon fan, as even though every character is competing, characters like Lilie for example, are not going to make their way in the quarterfinals. Let's be real. That will be the characters who actually battle for a living, such as Gladion, Hal, and our boy Ash. and the battles will hopefully be as spectacular as old series battles as well. They ain't ever disappearing. Yeah, getting back to Lilie, even though when she loses, she will still come out as a more developed trainer and having understood her own Pokemon and others' relationships with their Pokemon much better. And so will everybody else who loses. You gotta remember Sun and Moon's overall meaning for this league instead of just battles. In fact, this whole theme of characters I've been expressing applies to the trials as well. Trials in the anime are just a way for a trainer and Pokemon to grow, whilst also having been created in order to raise trainers to love and protect the islands of Alola, earning Z crystals as a reward to show this. This gets stated all the way back in season 1, whilst of course trials do test your strength as a trainer as well, but it's most importantly to help you grow. Whilst gym battles, for example, were always established from the very start to have been a stepping stone to compete in the leagues, whereas it isn't for the trials in the anime. Though, with that said, I will admit, regardless of Sun and Moon's themes, which I have come to understand, I am still a little bit disappointed that they lessened the trials in meaning, as even the games ended up having you have to complete each grand trial in order to battle the Pokemon League. But again, we gotta remember that this anime league is most importantly in the series' eyes to help one another grow. Which for everybody now concludes what was honestly a very long statement. I just had to express all of that. And because I started to learn these themes, and even admire Sun and Moon changing their typical formula up, making things less predictable and honestly kinda more enjoyable, I learned to start to get intrigued by this league. Though, of course, even if you understand the themes I've been stating now, you still have the right to be upset about this change and even the series as a whole. You could just want features from old series to always be prominent in the anime, which I can understand as somebody who actually misses some of the old series features and likes an older series as his favourite series despite liking the change of pace in Sun and Moon. That being XY. I honestly want a balance of XY's battles, XY's tone, but not as serious, Movie 21's art style, and the rest of Sun and Moon's features to be in the Jenny anime, as Sun and Moon isn't always that great for me, despite praising it a lot in my videos. But regardless of yeah, I was just trying to show you my point of view. You don't have to agree with it. And as always, I respect your opinions all the time in the comments down below. I love hearing others' opinions. And hopefully, you can respect mine. Positivity is always the best exchange. But with that statement now finally said, let's continue this review by going over the animation and music aspects we got in this episode. Firstly, for the animation, it looked decent as ever. However, my particular favourite highlights have to be the C-move animation, the fluid movement in the Guzma battle, and even the new settings established were looking quite beautiful. As for the music aspects, again it was as decent as ever. However, the tunes during the Guzma battle were making me orgasm. Like holy f***, they just fit so well and were rocking. Is that even a word? I don't know, but you guys get what I mean. So altogether, for this episode, now that I've gone over every section, as you should hopefully see, I found this episode to be very satisfying. In fact, it might be even one of my favourite episodes from the Sun and Moon series overall. It was that splendid. The best highlight of it being the Guzma battle, as that's where Guzma's character shined the best, and the action was just eye candy. Though, again, everything else was stunning. Myself even coming to admire the Alola League rules like I just stated. So I definitely recommend that you watch this episode if you haven't already. If you have watched this episode though, then once again do let me know in the comments down below what you personally thought of this episode though. I'd love to hear. As with that said, that finally finishes off today's video. So if you enjoyed, then please be sure to consider leaving a like, a share, and if you're new here, a subscribe along with that bell icon to stay in loop with all things Pokemon anime related. If you want to support this channel any further away, I also have a Patreon. Thank you for watching everybody, this is HackInsomniac, signing out.